We've been looking at the promises of God given to us in Psalm 91. And I'm going to look at the first part of verse 16. And it says this: "With long life I will satisfy them," or "with long life I will bless them." And I think the question during these times when we come in hardship or we have this worldwide pandemic is, why would I want long life? Why would I want my days to be lengthened when I just face hardship every place I turn, when there's broken relationships, when there's people hurting all around me, when I'm hurt? And so I asked God, how is long life a blessing? I think Paul came up with the same question when he found himself in jail. And he was isolated from friends and family. He was all by himself. Not only that, but he was in jail because he was preaching the word of God. So I'm sure there's a hint of isolation from God. God, why are you doing these things to me? Why am I here? And so Paul in Philippians chapter 1 says these words, and I think they can resonate with us during this time. He says, "For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." Sure, I want to die. I want to be in heaven. I want my reward, this hope I've been living for since I became a Christian. But to live, to have my days lengthened, is like Christ. I mean, that's why Christ came, to be a light in the darkness, to be the light in the darkness. Every interaction with people, he pointed people to a relationship with God. And so Paul finds himself in that same position, knowing that yes, he could give up, but to live more is to live like Christ. And so he used his days to be like Christ. And so the challenge to us is during these times, instead of giving up, how can we be like Christ? How we can take advantage of the time we have. Recently, I've been reading through the Lord of the Rings books, and there's this character that he seems pretty insignificant. He finds himself in a place, this dark, dark world, and this evil power is gaining power, and he feels like he can't do anything. And so he says this: "I wish it need not have happened in my time," said Frodo. "So do I," said Gandalf, this wise wizard. "And so do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time given us." And so it is for us to decide what we do with the time given us. We can look inward and ask those questions of God. Why me? Why now? Why these people? Why these finances? All this hardship? Why? Oftentimes those aren't questions given to us to decide. What we need to decide is what we do with the time given to us. And so Paul did in jail. Think of it this way: if Paul gave up and gave into those fears and loneliness and isolation, we'd be missing a huge chunk of the New Testament. We'd be missing these encouraging words. And so how are you going to live the time given to you? How are you going to leave a legacy to your family during this time? How are you going to lift others out of hopelessness? How are you going to lift others out of the fearful isolation that they're in? What can you do today with the time given to you? Thanks for joining us.